Welcome to Talking Giants. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And the New York Giants have traded Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs for a comp third-round pick and a sixth-round pick. We're going to talk about this for, 15 to 20 minutes. We had to get a reaction pod out to this, Justin. This is shocking for 5 minutes, and then after the initial quickness of oh my gosh, I can't believe Kadarius Toney was traded, it's not shocking at all. I mean, the writing on the wall was all leading to some type of breakup with Kadarius Toney and the New York Giants. And that writing on the wall was there in week one. There week one when people were saying, oh, he only played 7 snaps because he didn't know the playbook. And we told people that's not true. There is more to this. Okay? And there's blame on Kadarius Toney's side, and it's led to this. It sucks that we're in this spot. Yeah. It really does suck. It sucks to trade Kadarius Toney, the talent that he is, for a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick. A player who I think can be a star in the NFL, even though he can't stay on the field. And that's a huge part of this. Not all of it, but it's a huge part of this. But I am 100% am okay with the Giants doing this and doing it now, because his trade value would have only went down. And to get a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick is, I think, good value for Kadarius Toney right now. Yeah,
Bobby. My breakdown of thoughts goes into 2 separate places. My brain says this is kind of awesome because Kadarius Toney just has not been on the football field. This is 2 coaching staffs in a row that they've had the opportunity to use him when he's healthy for, the hot second, the hot minute, the 5 minutes that he would be healthy. And both coaching staffs in his first 2 years have said, no thanks. And also both years when they started to use him a little bit, he gets hurt, which is ultimately huge part of the conversation. And then the second part of it is brain happy and brain saying this is a good thing, getting that third-round pick, sixth-round pick as well. But the heart's just man, we used the 20th overall pick on this guy. And not just with the first-round value, but this guy is so talented. And now he's walking out of the door, and we're kicking him in. We're kicking him out of the door. And another thing that you said, too, to kind of open, you said that, the writing's been on the wall since, week 1 of this year. Bobby, I think the writing has been on the wall since summer of last year. The summer of last year. I think, even with the previous regime, too, the previous regime that took him 20th.
After week 2 versus Washington, the Thursday night football game, we heard, there's real shit with him.
Yeah. So this has been...
They realized they screwed up on this.
This has been 2 regimes, and especially even the last one that took him and that should have believed in him and that should have done their due diligence with Kadarius Toney, they were even doubting if he was a guy that was going to be on this team, going to be available, and if he was going to be part of the future of this team. So it sucks, but also because of the situation that we are in, this is a very, very good thing.
Yeah, the writing on the wall goes back to OTAs, which we'll break down all of this.
OTAs of last year, too.
But here's the biggest thing, and this is the main reason why I'm very much okay with this with Kadarius Toney. Because I still do think Kadarius Toney, if he gets healthy, as much as a headache as he can be an awesome player, and he's going to a great system in a great situation in Kansas City. I really do. He's not a gadget player. He's a wide receiver, and he can be a star wide receiver, honestly, without having to practice that much. Kadarius Toney has the ability to be a star wide receiver without practicing every week and putting in the most effort and studying film. He's that type of player. Now, you want that type of stuff because that takes you to a different level, but he has that ability to at least be a really good wide receiver at that level. But the main reason I'm okay with it is not because, he's not smart, tough, dependable. Well, I guess that's part of it, is he doesn't play. He's missed 12 of 24 games in that he's had the chance to play in the NFL. And 5 of those 12 games that he's actually played in, he's played less than 50% of the snaps. And 9 of those 12, he's played less than 60% of those snaps. So it's either they just didn't use him, week 1 this year, week 1, week 2 in 2021, and other games, but it's just, he's not on the field. So you get a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick for a guy who's not on the field, I'm taking it.
Yeah, and
it doesn't look like it's going to get better. There's been 8 different injuries over the last 2 years.
And 2 different injuries to the same hamstring, which, go figure. there were legitimate questions on Kadarius Toney's commitment to football and wanting to get better and all that kind of stuff. But if he were to stay on the field with these last two coaching staffs, like last year, the Giants started to use him when they had no other choice. The Giants this year were in a similar position, or are in a similar position that they are to last year, where they had so many wide receivers go down. So they would have been forced to use Kadarius Toney this year, despite them not wanting to use him. And if he stayed on the field, Bobby, then none of this would be happening. You would have these questions of Kadarius Toney's commitment. You would have these questions of blah, 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 blah. Is he here mentally, whatever? But I guarantee if he's on the field, he would have been balling out for us. But that's the issue. He's not on the field.
That's absolutely. If he were healthy, he would be on the team. And that's why they didn't trade him in the offseason, even though they were listening to trade offers on him. They weren't shopping him because he would have been traded, but they were listening to offers in the offseason because there was frustration, which we'll talk about with the OTAs and stuff. But like them, they like the Giants aren't stupid. They know the special type of talent he was. They went into camp. He was the star of the first week of camp. And then got injured. And then, so like you said, if he's healthy, he's still a New York Giant because through all the headaches, he's still going to put talent, produce on the field, and week 2, when they played him, like he had a big catch that was taken back. That was Daniel Jones. I think that was the game where Daniel Jones missed him wide open on 2 plays, and he also had a drop in that game. And that was not even playing a lot of snaps. And just like the last regime, when they were forced to play him after those first 2 games, versus the Falcons, they played him very little, but he did some good things in that game. Had a nice first down conversion. Versus the Saints, balled out. Versus the Cowboys, obviously had his best game. And then versus the Rams, that first drive of the game, he had 3 catches for 36 yards and then got hurt and then just was in and out of the lineup. But even when he came back in and played games, he was the main target on the offense. And I think he led the wide receivers in catches last year, if I'm not mistaken. So so the health is a thing, but the reason why they're trading him is not just because of the health, because they don't trust this guy to, one, put in the work to get healthy and to be reliable if he was healthy, and they're cutting ties early instead of late. Because if you do this a year from now, you're probably only getting a 5th round pick back. So and I agree with this, even though I hate it because I think Kadarius Toney can be a star, but the injuries make this trade a lot easier to swallow.
Yeah, and this is credit to Joe Schoen, man. I didn't think that this was going to be an in-season trade. Like, I'm thinking Kadarius Toney, he'll play 2 to 3 games for the rest of the season for the Giants. And then this is going to be an off-season trade because a team will talk themselves into getting a full year of Kadarius Toney. They can rehab him. They can get him healthy for a regular season. They can baby him during camp, and then boom, let's just roll with him for the regular season. But I mean, I don't know what Joe Schoen did, or if the Chiefs just really are swinging for the fences, which they should. There's like 3 good teams in the NFL right now, so the Chiefs should definitely do it. You got to keep up with the Bills. And man, credit to Joe Schoen for getting this, comp, not conditional, comp 3rd round pick. That originally.
Can we clear that up? Let's clear that up.
Yeah,
because it was set a conditional. It's a comp pick that the Chiefs have because Ryan Poles, who we obviously interviewed for the Giants GM job, who's a minority, got the Bears GM job. So they got 2 comp picks for that, because the new rule that if a coordinator or a staff member gets hired as a GM or head coach, you get 2 comp as a minority. You get that team that he leaves gets 2 comp picks. So like if Patrick Graham got a head coaching job this offseason, the Giants would have received 2 comp picks.
Yeah. So basically, I think the last time the Giants had a comp pick was Matt Parrott, right? 2020 at the end of the 3rd round.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's around the territory that we're going to be picking this year with the Chiefs
pick 99 or so.
Yeah,
and that's what Matt Parrott was.
Another top 100 pick. Sign me up, man. It sucks again that you used the 20th overall pick on Kadarius Toney, but that wasn't Joe Schoen's fault, problem.
Yeah, that's obviously not on Joe. And again, I like trading down, but that is the other side of the whole draft trade stuff. Is like, well, now instead of having. Well, so people will say that this trade down got them Evan Neal because he was taken with the pick by the Bears. It actually got them Kayvon Thibodeau because they would not have drafted, they would have not left this draft without a tackle.
No, yeah, you're right.
Know?
Yeah.
So it really, in all reality, added Kayvon Thibodeaux, unless they would have drafted Rashawn Slater. But we've heard that they weren't going to draft Slater if they just stayed at that spot.
Huh.
So they could have gotten Micah Parsons. So that there's more to it than that. But anyways, we're not going to do a big debate on trade. But you got to pick the right players, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But when the regime came in, they weren't eager to trade Kadarius Toney. This all started, Justin. This all started, and we got heat from Kadarius Toney's trainer for this, and fans being like, "Oh, it's voluntary, it's voluntary." When Kadarius Toney skipped the first fucking day of voluntary OTAs and wasn't there to get a playbook, didn't have a playbook. This happened then, and then the trade stuff was real at that time. And Kadarius Toney showed up, reported by me, no big deal. That's when it all started. That he is not bought into winning football, to not show up to the first day of voluntary OTAs as a second-year player who couldn't get on the field with a brand new regime and coaching staff and an offense that can be complicated at times. Yep. This 100% with this regime started then. That is day one where it started, because there was not issues with Toney until then, because they would FaceTime, they talk, and listen, he's a different cat, a different type of personality. You have those guys on teams. There's nothing wrong with his personality. The issue is he did not buy in to being a great New York Giant.
Yeah, it's a shame that the issue with Kadarius Toney is everything but him being on the field. I mean, there has never been. I mean, we would even say after he was drafted, well, he's got to improve on his route running a little bit. Bobby, whenever we've seen him on the field, outside of a drop or two here or there. I mean, what has been the critique of Kadarius Toney's play? I mean, I've never seen, this even includes a guy like Odell, which Odell was on another level, but I've never seen a guy in a Giants uniform that is able to just create something out of nothing and yards after the catch and just these remarkable plays, even in a shitty Garrett offense that did not emphasize yards after the catch at all. Everything but him on the field was
and he gave full effort when on the field.
Yeah, man.
It's not like he just when it was out there, being lazy on the field. It's just it's everything before kickoff on Sundays.
Yeah,
that was an issue with Toney.
Yeah, man.
So that's why, like you said, if he stayed healthy, he would still be a New York Giant. He might be a headache still, but he's still a New York Giant. But the health is the main thing. But there's just so much more where they decided we're not betting on this guy, is basically what it is. And obviously the last regime makes it a lot easier for them to swallow that bad decision and bite the bullet on it.
So do you have any more serious topics on this, like serious thoughts on this?
I want to talk about where we are with draft picks quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure his tweeting during games at fans on social media and have to go in and delete stuff like that didn't help. He was a head case. It sucks. And it all breeds, goes from the injuries, because being funny and crazy on social media is awesome when you're playing well and the team's winning. When you're injured and can't get on the field, is an issue. So the picks I just want to be this is where the New Giants have for picks right now. They have a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and seventh that are their own picks. They don't have a 6th round pick because of the Keon Carson trade from last offseason that was traded to the Texans. They have a 7th round pick from the Ravens in the Ben Bredesen pick swap trade where they gave up a 6. They received the Ravens 7th. So now we have the 3rd and 6th from the Chiefs. So as of right now, the Giants have 9 picks, but they also might get 2 comp picks from Evan Ingram and Keon Carson, which would be projected to be a 5th and a 7th. So it's looking like the Giants are in a spot to have 11 draft picks again, Justin.
Oh boy. How many top 100 picks? What does this make the 3rd round pick that we got?
This comp pick could be 101 or it could be 99.
I'll count it.
Let's just call it 4 top 100 picks.
All right.
Our first 3 picks, and then this one from the Chiefs.
Yeah. Oh, here's a serious question too. Before we just mess around with some back tattoo of New York. What do we do with the Toney Award? And then we're retiring our media some clown shirts. I guess another shirt we have to retire.
Clown shirts, baby. Buy them now.
Buy them now. But do we think that this opens the floodgates for a move? Wide receiver move, that we trade for a wide receiver?
I don't think. I mean, I still have the same opinions of last week. Like, would Jerry Jeudy be the number one wide receiver on this team? Yeah, and I think Jerry Jeudy be like a really. I think Jerry Judy's on track for a Sammy Watkins career, and it's like, do we trade draft capital for Sammy Watkins?
No,
in season. So if they do it, it makes more sense now. But I just still don't see that happening, Justin.
Yeah, I wonder how much. Does this open up cap space for this year? You would think it does.
Not much. It does, but not much.
Yeah, because I mean that's the main thing.
Cap the next couple of years too.
Yeah, that's the main thing, man. Where it's, I would love for them to make a move, and if it makes sense, and I want them to keep the draft capital too, but I just don't think that they have a choice. I don't think they can do anything. So, without restructuring other people, I do think they are going to stay the course, and who knows? Maybe another move is coming. Maybe if there's a team that here's my philosophy, but here's my thing: if Billy Price could be traded for a BJ Hill, then Kadarius Toney can be traded for somebody, and then also Kenny Golladay can be traded for somebody too. So I wonder if something like that is coming next. Kenny Galladay's a big cap hit though.
But I could see the Giants eating 75% of it.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening.
I don't know, man. I didn't see a Toney trade happening, so we'll see. We'll see.
Anything. So it does suck that I like Kadarius Toney's personality. I think teams you don't need cookie cutter personalities on every team. And we'll always have his media sessions were hilarious. The media he gave some great lines. But ultimately, he's not going to be remembered as a New York Giant. He's going to be, he's going to remember as a first round bust for the New York Giants.
So what is he going to do with that back tattoo of New York? That sucks.
That was always stupid by Tony. It's come on, man. You can be traded. And he has a number 89 tattoo as well. I don't know if he's going to be number 89 on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Is there an 89 on the Chiefs? I need to check this.
So with the Tony Award, I was thinking that this will just be the last year of the Tony Award and then we'll retire. Because I don't want to give this award to every single beat reporter. So it just ends. And it's a joke that probably will get old 5 years from now.
It will get old, yeah.
So I was thinking that this is the final Tony Award. So there will only be 2 Tony Award winners ever. Breaking
news. There is not a number 89 on the Kansas City Chiefs, so Kadarius Toney is safe. Imagine he just goes, is there a number 1?
I can also see him not caring about the tattoo and just picking a different number.
There is a number 1, so Jerick McKinnon is number 1. He cannot wear his number in college. Was he 1 in college? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Do we got anything else? We didn't want to spend too much time on, go an hour on this. Anything else?
No, man. In Joe Shane we trust. That's my final thought.
Yeah, it sucks that we're in this. I loved watching Kadarius Toney play football. I really did. And it really does suck that it's ending this way, but this is the right decision by the Giants and Joe Shane. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back with a preview pod tomorrow, but we wanted to get this podcast out. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with a preview pod. Until then, let's go Big Blue.